Hey there, everyone. Happy Friday. I'm Meteorologist Stefanie Lauber. Wanted to come on here on Facebook and bring some attention to your social media about our forecast for tonight, because we are looking at the possibility of some storms later this evening, and that timing is going to depend on exactly where you are across the coastal bend. And it's Friday, so we have a lot of plans that I'm sure you are wondering, ooh, is that rain going to make me have to change my plans? I think we'll still have a nice weekend in store. Plus, beneficial rainfall is always a good thing, but we need to be weather aware today and keep our eye on the radar, on the sky, and you can always check our forecast anytime. ChrisTV.com/weather for the very latest from your Chris 6 weather experts. But let's take a look at what is going on in the forecast. Obviously, we've got Buck Days going on. It's the first Friday of May, being that it's May 2nd, so Art Walk is going on, and while both of those things tend to kind of wind down around 10 o'clock, 10 o'clock is going to be a very interesting time frame in our storm potential that we're looking at. So if you're a night owl, or maybe you get up very early for work like me, you may have known we've had some storms over the past couple of overnight periods that have mainly been across our more northern zones. So night before last, we had hail across portions of B County, and it was a very interesting night for our neighbors in Live Oak County then too. But then last night we had this group of storms that moved across the coastal bend, and right as they were wrapping up, right at the tail end exit of the coastal bend, we had another storm that actually went severe for a brief time across very northern Aransas County into the Oswell, Seadrift, Tivoli area. So for that reason, we know that the atmosphere is ready to go. It's primed, and we have been feeling this humidity for the past week, where right now there's no rain happening, but it feels like you're a mermaid swimming around outside, and we just need somebody to turn on the faucet so we can get some rainfall into the mix. So over the past couple of nights, storms from up north and some wrinkles upstairs in the atmosphere have helped to make these spotty little isolated events that were problematic. But I think tonight is going to be a more widespread event, because what's going to cause this, the hand turning on the faucet, is going to be a cold front moving across South Texas. So that's where our attention needs to be on the forecast. That timing is going to be later tonight, and here's what you can expect for your Friday night plans. Of course, it's a beautiful day out there. We've had some cloud coverage this morning, kind of scenic view around sunrise when we were ending our Chris 6 Sunrise newscast. Right now, we're seeing the clouds over downtown Corpus Christi, a little hazy out there. And by the way, we have a lot of sky cams around the coastal bend. If you want to check them out anytime, you can head to our website, ChrisTV.com/weather. You'll see a little tab up top that says our sky cams weather cam network. And I want to see if our director David could pop up the First Community Bank camera for us. That's the one that sits atop the USS Lexington, because we like to call that one the shaky camera. Yeah, that is the case right now. There we go, a little shaky there. It looks like traffic's moving smoothly over the Harbor Bridge and the soon-to-be Harbor Bridge, also looking just fine. But yeah, we won't show you this too long, or you'll get kind of seasick. But here's what's going on in your neighborhood. Temperatures were warm this morning. They're still warm now. We're in the 80s in some form or fashion. Kingsville's already feeling hot at 85 degrees. And the clouds are starting to break up. Winds are starting to pick up. And we've got wind gusts that are higher than the sustained values. Right now, sustained winds between 15 and 20 miles per hour, as expected. This afternoon, that could be around 25, possibly even 30 miles per hour. Not too different from what we've seen over the past couple of days. Of course, visibility has improved a lot since this morning, because we've been able to get that wind to move the haziness around, but it's still very humid out there. So we definitely have enough water in the air for rain. It's also making things very humid. Just want to touch on that heat risk for today. It's on the downward trend, but as our temperatures rise to those middle to upper 80s today, to your body has a hard time dealing with warmer temperatures when it's very humid, because how do we cool off biologically? Kind of gross, but it's sweat. When it's very humid and there's a lot of water in the air already, the atmosphere does not want your perspiration. So you don't really get that latent heat exchange that cools your skin. And that's why it just feels so uncomfortable outside when it's very humid like it will be today. So that is the business out of the way. Let's get to the business for tonight and those Friday night plans, weekend plan details. This is our timeline for when we expect rainfall across the coastal bend. It looks pretty uniform, but have a closer look for yourself. As we head into this evening time frame, really I'll start with the afternoon hours, because as you see here, we are going to be looking at some of this rain really picking up as we go into the evening time frame. This little curve here for the Beeville folks, if we get warm enough this afternoon, that sea breeze kicks up, it has tended to make for a couple of spotty showers out your way during that hottest part of the afternoon time frame. And into this evening, right around here is when we're going to start to see what I'm calling an appetizer round of showers and storms moving in from San Antonio. I'll show you that on Future Tracker in a moment, but meanwhile, in places like Alice and Corpus Christi, probably not going to see much happening until around 9:30, 10 o'clock tonight. Once we get over that hump, literally look at how quickly these rain chances skyrocket, and we are going to stay kind of in a soggy situation during the overnight. But this witching hour, so to speak, between about 10 p.m. and 1 a.m. is when I think we'll see a line of storms because of this cold front moving through our area. So looking at the big weather picture right now, that's the front that we're waiting for. So the timing isn't exactly perfect. In fact, the National Weather Service office here in Corpus Christi has let us know they are going to be launching a special weather balloon at 1 p.m. this afternoon. That allows them to get more careful measurements of what's happening in the atmosphere and fine-tune the timing of storms for us and exactly how spunky they might be when they get here. So it's something that we'll keep in mind. But let's talk about the potential for some of those storms to be spunky. Now, weekend plans, if you were heading up to San Antonio for fiesta activities, NIOSA's been going on, that's a greater chance for severe weather to happen. In fact, I might say hang out with Buck Days instead, because you've got a better chance of actually being able to enjoy your events. This brown area that you see ranging from San Antonio out to Houston and Austin is a 3 out of 5 potential for severe weather. They're going to see that before us, so that could be a problem. If you have friends up that way, let them know they need to be weather aware too. For us, we're in the yellow area tonight. That is a 2 out of 5. Slight risk for severe weather, so a step down from what our friends up north and to the west are dealing with. In fact, the storms we're seeing along that cold front are going to ride our way and hopefully be losing steam as they come toward us. But tonight, yes, all of the coastal bend under this 2 out of 5. Lower end potential for severe weather, but still something we should pay attention to. Tomorrow morning, we will likely still have storms in the morning hours, but those will be focused in our southern neighborhoods. That darker shade of green is a 1 out of 5. So it doesn't mean there's no potential for severe storms, but it's on the lower end. So we're still going to keep an eye out for it. And the focus would be in our southern neighborhoods. So that's something we're keeping our eyes on. Let's talk about what these risks mean. What does it mean to be in that yellow area? Well, a slight risk of severe thunderstorms means scattered severe storms are possible. They'd be short-lived, not very widespread. And, you know, we have seen some pretty sporty thunderstorms the past 2 evenings. Like I said, there was hail in Beeville, and this morning the concern was a little bit of that hail and stronger winds. So a severe thunderstorm is where you have wind gusts of at least 58 miles per hour or hail that's 1 inch in diameter, and a tornado could blow that immediately. That's a severe thunderstorm if you have a tornado warning. But thankfully, the tornado risk is going to be on a much lower end. We are simply going to forecast on this part, the hail and the strong winds. Of course, frequent lightning with these thunderstorms definitely expected. So that, of course, is a danger, but that doesn't factor into the criteria for severe thunderstorm. When you hear thunder roar, head indoors. Let storms pass. Again, these shouldn't be very long-lived. They're riding along cold front, so it shouldn't take more than just a couple hours for the storm system to completely move through our area. The storms afterward would be lingering into tomorrow morning. So, of course, let's talk about the ingredients that go into making a storm. We need 4 things. We need shear, which is that change in direction or speed with wind as you go up in the atmosphere. The past couple of mornings, we've seen those clouds racing upstairs while we've been relatively calm at the ground level. That's an example of shear. We need lift. We need something to turn the faucet on. You need the clouds, air to move up to make clouds, and move up more to make for rain clouds, storm clouds. That lift is going to come from the cold front. It's literally going to push up all this warm, soupy air and wring it out like a dish towel. That's also what accounts for the instability. We're very, very warm and soupy here at the ground level, and when that cold front comes through, that is going to make that lift happen because the air will be unstable. So breaking down a little bit of the science here. And then moisture, I don't have to explain that one. I know you feel it. Look at my hair. We're living our best big Texas hair life in that it's been very humid out. So we have all the ingredients tonight, at least we expect to, and that's why it's important to talk about that timing. So I want to show you a model. A model is not a forecast, but it does give us guidance for when we can expect the storms to be in your neighborhood in detail. And again, after the Weather Service kind of puts their special balloon out and collects that data, this model will have a much better idea of what to expect. And there are many models, but I think this one is probably doing a good job of what to expect. So I'll zoom out a little bit for you here so you can see what's going on. All right. As we go through the afternoon time frame here, we're going to stay dry, sunshine, hot, humid like we have the past couple of days, and then storms will be brewing up in the San Antonio area. So the timing has actually changed since we were forecasting this morning on Chris 6 Sunrise to push this back more, where by Friday around 10 p.m. is where we're likely going to see those storms moving into our western neighborhoods. Progressing closer to 11 p.m. midnight, that's when these storms could be moving through Calallen, Odom, Edroy, Sinton, Taft, Corpus Christi, into parts of Portland, Kingsville. You'd be in that pool too. And then we'd see that kind of moving out toward the coast into the overnight. Now around 2 a.m., we'll have a little bit of a break, but the rain won't be completely done. Don't think we're out of the woods just yet with this. Again, this isn't set in stone, but the idea is that as the initial cold front moves through and kicks up those storms, there'll be a little bit of a break before kind of the lingering storms kick up on Saturday morning around our southern neighborhoods. And so this is looking better for a Saturday morning forecast. You can see why it was that dark shade of green and not yellow for tomorrow. But this is something that will be fine-tuned as we head through the afternoon, especially with some extra information from that special balloon launch that the National Weather Service is going to be collecting. So if you are heading out to Buck Days or Art Walk, a lot of the models have been pinpointing that time frame to be as early as 9:30, 10 o'clock tonight. This model thinks that we'll still be okay by then, probably hearing thunder at that point in the Corpus Christi area. But again, this is a model. It's suggestions, guidance from computers. It's not set in stone. Don't be glued to it. In fact, I encourage you to look back on the forecast as we go out this afternoon. You can stay tuned to Chris 6 News at noon. Meteorologist Stefanie Lauber will be bringing you updates then. And of course, you'll have them tonight on our sister station, Telemundo Corpus Christi. Meteorologist Julia Quady will be here this evening at 5, 6, 9, 10 to bring you all the latest. And of course, you can get this forecast anytime, christv.com. So I just wanted to update you. We are tracking those storms for tonight. Bottom line, I do think Friday night plans will be okay. We just need to be weather aware. When you hear thunder roar, head indoors. Keep an eye on the radar and the forecast. You can do that on our website. Again, christv.com/weather. We'll be updating you here on social media with the latest too. But again, get out there early, enjoy your Friday evening, stay cool, stay hydrated, and stay aware of the weather. I'll let you back into the rest of your Friday. Hope you have a good weekend if I don't talk to you then.